Hey everyone, it's Jackson here. Today I wanted to talk to you about ghost ships. Now, before I can talk to you about famous ghost ships throughout history, we have to first establish what a ghost ship is. Wikipedia defines ghost ships as any ship that is floating adrift or is abandoned without a crew. Now, with that being said, let's get into talking about some famous historical ghost ships. The Mary Celeste was an American merchant ship discovered completely deserted in the Atlantic Ocean on the 4th of December, 1872. She was found in a disheveled but still seaworthy state, and her lifeboat was missing. The last entry in her log was dated from 10 days earlier. Her cargo, which contained alcohol, was there, and the crew wasn't. None of the crew have been seen or heard from since, and it's very likely that they are dead, as the accident happened over 150 years ago. There are many different theories on what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste. They range from things like sea monsters or pirates to more far-fetched theories, like aliens or something. The most likely theory, in my opinion, is that there was some kind of mass panic or hysteria among the crew, and that caused them to abandon ship. However, that's not able to be proven, as the disaster happened over 150 years ago, so it's very likely that we'll never know what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste. It'll always be one of the greatest mysteries in ship history. Okay, get ready for a terrifying one. The MV Joida was a merchant vessel, and 25 people disappeared from it in 1955. When the ship was found, she was partially sunk, and she was in terrible condition. Her pipes were corroded, and her radio only had a distance of 2 miles, which, when you're out at sea, is basically nothing. The radio, by the way, was on the International Distress Channel, which brings up the assumption that something terrible must have happened. But the question is, what? Why did 4 tons of cargo and 25 people mysteriously disappear from the MV Joida? It's very likely that no one will ever know, which is what makes this absolutely terrifying. The Carroll A. Deering was found abandoned on the North Carolina coast in 1921. The crew, however, was nowhere to be found. When the ship was completed in 1919, she was a fairly state-of-the-art and considered fairly safe. So why exactly did her entire crew go missing? Well, most people blame the famous and infamous Bermuda Triangle, which is a section of water in the Atlantic famous for shipping and airplane disappearances, just in case you didn't know. However, that theory remains unproven. When the ship was found, the log and the lifeboats were missing along with the crew, so it's unlikely that we'll ever know what happened to this ship. The Cas-2 was a yacht that was found completely abandoned 88 miles northeast of Australia on the 20th of April 2007. The ship had a 3-man crew consisting of Derek Batten, Peter Tunstead, and James Tunstead. The ship had left shore on April 15, 2007, so the question is, what happened to this 3-man crew in those 5 days? Well, actually, it wasn't even 5 days, because the ship was found adrift and abandoned on April the 18th. So in 3 days, 3 men went missing without a trace. No one knows what happened to them, and it's likely no one ever will. It's a very strange case to look at. The SS Bechimo was first spotted completely abandoned in 1931 off the coast of Alaska, and the last known sighting was in the same place in 1969. In 1931, the ship was carrying cargo when she got caught in some ice. The crew abandoned the ship to seek refuge in a town before returning 2 days later to the ship. The only problem was that the ship was no longer there. For about 40 years, the ship drifted completely abandoned in the northern Alaska, northern Canada area. Now, people did board the ship to try and salvage things from her, however, they could never salvage the ship herself. With the last known sighting of her being in 1969, it's quite likely the ship sank in the early 1970s. Forgive me for any mispronunciations. The John Singh was a ship of unknown origin, and it was found completely abandoned in 2006. The ship was found with no crew on board and a broken tow rope, with identifying marks removed, but no signs of illegal activity or violence. The Coast Guard was never able to determine the ship's origin, and so they scuttled her in deep waters. Sorry for any mispronunciations. The MB Lubov Orlova was a 1976 Yugoslavian-built cruise ship. She was laid up in 2010 after being decommissioned, and she became abandoned as a ghost ship in 2013. As of 2020, she hasn't been seen since. All signs point that the vessel has been sunk, but that's completely unknown. Tabloid journalists have said that she was infected with cannibal rats and was seen floating off the coast of the UK, but that is completely unproven. It's currently unknown what happened to this ship, but it is most likely that she sunk. So that's my video on famous ghost ships throughout history. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a like, as it helps me, know that you guys like this kind of content. Consider sharing it with a friend if you think they might enjoy this kind of video. My next video should be on the Queen Elizabeth, and it'll be the story of the Queen Elizabeth. With all that being said though, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.